Hey everyone, Charlie here. Did you guys see that Elon Musk's wealth went up by $37 billion in one day following the news of Tesla striking a deal with Hertz? When looking at the numbers of Elon Musk's wealth, it's absolutely astonishing. The amount of wealth that Elon Musk accrued on that one day alone would put him in the top 40 wealthiest people in the world. And overall, his net worth is higher than all but 21 companies in the S&P 500. It's my dream that one day maybe I could own a professional sports franchise. But Elon Musk, his net worth, he could afford to buy every team in the NFL, the MLB, the NBA, and the NHL. It's even possible one day, if Tesla's stock keeps going up, that Elon Musk could be the world's first trillionaire. However, that may never happen due to this billionaire tax plan. In this video, we'll discuss all about the tax plan, and I'll give you my thoughts of what I like and what I don't like about, and possible alternatives. So, back to Elon Musk. If you look in the news, you'll see many different articles and news sources feeling like Elon Musk's wealth should be redistributed. We've even seen articles saying that Elon Musk should donate $6 billion and solve world hunger. I was curious, so I did a little bit of light research, aka Google search, and it seems like much more money than $6 billion is needed to solve world hunger. I mean, maybe that can help in like a very, very short term, but long term, that's ridiculous. But okay, now let's shift over to the billionaire tax plan, which was proposed by Senator Ron Wyden from Oregon. Now, this tax plan would tax unrealized capital gains, meaning that stock that you're holding that you haven't sold. And this could also apply to like real estate or other assets, even privately held businesses. And this applies to specifically that anyone that has a net worth over $1 billion or who have reported gains of over 100 million in 3 consecutive years. So for those people that fall in that tiny bucket of people that this actually applies to, your unrealized gains would be taxed at the long-term capital tax rate, which is 23.6% right now. This means for Elon Musk, with all his capital gains in the past, he could be looking at a $60 billion tax bill. And that's more than he was worth even just a year and a half ago. And of course, Elon Musk has been quite outspoken about this tax bill proposal. This has even caused Elon Musk to go to poll his Twitter followers to see whether or not they thought he should sell 10% of his shares of Tesla. And it passed, so Elon Musk sold $6.9 billion worth of stock. So now let's get into this huge debate of whether or not it's fair for the government to tax billionaires' unrealized capital gains. So before we get in this heated debate, let me know how you feel, and let's poll. If you're for this tax bill, hit the thumbs up button. And if you're against it, well, also hit the thumbs up button. No, really, let me know in the comments below how you feel. Right now, a lot of billionaires and wealthy individuals are able to avoid major taxation. And that's because they're able to live off this paper wealth that they've accrued in these growing assets. They don't necessarily have this money in the bank, but they own a portion of a company that's worth this high value amount. And thus, they're able to go to the bank and borrow to fund their lifestyle expenses through this wealth. Thus, they're not selling the stock, so they're never facing a tax bill, and they're able to take that as leverage to get money to live their lives. So, thus, they're able to avoid paying taxes and still have access to money. And eventually, when an individual passes away, then essentially this tax bill that's been accumulating is just wiped out. The same goes for owning real estate or owning other assets. Right now, Joe Biden and the Democrats are trying to pass multi-trillion-dollar bills for infrastructure and clean energy, and they're looking straight at the billionaires. Because so much of this money from the wealthiest individuals go untaxed, there's this large pool of potential tax revenue dollars. And on the other hand, you have people like Elon Musk who are absolutely enraged about this billionaire tax bill. And they have points as well. This bill treats ownership of a company or stock or asset the same as it does the sale. This is going to create potential liquidity issues for anyone this bill applies to. It's going to force some of these individuals to have to sell ownership and their stock in these companies to help foot the tax bill. And in turn, that's going to end up hurting these companies and the stock price of these companies. We've already seen that with the massive sell over the past week when Elon Musk sold almost $7 billion of shares. The price of Tesla went from about $1,200 back down to $1,000. And if this bill is passed, these unrealized capital gains are not just going to be taxed over what was accrued over the past year. No, they're going to go back in time. So on day one, these billionaires are going to be hit with a massive tax bill. And on top of that, Joe Biden has discussed raising the long-term capital gains tax rate from around 23% for the highest bracket to over 40%. That would make this even worse for billionaires. And this bill is going to constrict the top American business leaders and entrepreneurs because they're going to have to take a large portion, sell a large portion of what they own just to pay their taxes, which can prevent them from furthering growth of their company or even starting new ventures. However, Joe Biden needs the money to pass these bills, and it looks like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos may be footing a large portion of this bill. So I can understand why Elon Musk is upset. In my opinion, I think something should be done though. I think it's unfair that billionaires get away, for the most part, without paying their fair share of taxes. It's estimated from the Forbes 400 wealthiest individuals that they paid over the past decade an average of roughly 8% in federal tax rate. That's about 1/3 of what the average American pays. And that's a large sum of tax revenue dollars that the government is not collecting. However, I also feel though that this proposal from Ron Wyden, it's just wrong. It's just too much and it's not reasonable. That's why I would consider some of these alternative methods for taxing the billionaire. For example, Joe Biden came up with a more reasonable solution, and that's taxing billionaires at their death for these tax bills, or when they pass it on to their heir. That's when the tax bill becomes due. And I think that alone would just change the behaviors and the patterns, knowing that their heirs will have to pay the bill. I think that would cause more opportunistic selling upon these wealthiest individuals. And politicians could also be open to what Ron Wyden and the Democrats are proposing, but maybe just at a lesser rate. Right now, that long-term capital gains rate is at 23%, and that's likely to even be going higher. But maybe for these unrealized gains, they have something much lower, which makes that tax bill on the unrealized gains much more manageable. And overall, I'd also like to see tax incentives and tax breaks, and also a promotion of investment into companies that are already doing these clean energy, green, sustainable initiatives, because the ones that have already been successful, I would promote their growth instead of trusting funds with politicians to start new ones. Anyways, that's where I land on this issue. Let me know how you feel about this debate in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. We'll make more videos like this in the future. Thank you.